We've all heard of Pliny the Elder, we've all heard of Heady Topper, but there's a third one to add to that list. Have you tried Cloudwater's double IPA? It's hard to believe Cloudwater have only been going for a year, because in that time they've produced some astonishing beers, from bergamot hopfenweisses and British hop lagers to kettle sours and imperial stouts. Brewing seasonally means they rarely make the same beer twice, but their double IPA was so good they're now onto their third batch. That said, they're mixing up the recipe every time. Despite his amazing kit, head brewer James is very hands-on. He's not just pressing buttons on screens, he's pushing the mash around, pulling levers, and making sure everything happens quickly, because otherwise bad things happen, like...
swearing.
And you could taste that in the beer, right?
No.
The brewer got angry.
You can taste compromise. And coriander.
So here we are at Cloudwater in the only warm room in the brewery. I've sat down here with Paul and James, the two founders. Firstly, thank you for brewing two of the best double IPAs I've ever had.
No worries. Thank you.
Secondly, what's the third one going to be? What's the concept? Because you've changed it each time.
The third one is going to be made with Vermont ale yeast. That's a yeast that we started working with first in Vermont ESB.
Yep.
It's a yeast that gives an extraordinary amount of peach, tropical fruits. So that foundation for the next double IPA should make version 3 way more juicier than any beer that we've made so far.
That's quite an unusual thing. People associate hops with the fruity character, and most people say, "Oh, you want a clean beer, and then you add the hops for an IPA."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So where's that idea coming from? This new movement?
Well, I think it's Vermont ale yeast. It's brewers in Vermont, really.
Right.
So there are a few people experimenting with it. There's one brewery that uses Conan yeast. Alchemist, is it?
Yeah.
Heady Topper.
Heady Topper, yep.
Yeah. And that's a hugely fruity beer.
For us, it definitely marks a change of saying, when we've got a specific target that we want to achieve in a beer, let's also try and have yeast contribute to that.
You got 4 ingredients, make the most of all of them, I guess.
Sure,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And you must be feeling the pressure because the last 2 have been such big hits. Like, you say the third best rated English beer, and certainly for me, probably the best IPA I've had out of a British brewery.
So that came out of the blue for everybody. And it's exciting when you get a surprise that's also a nice surprise.
Yeah.
Version 2, lots of expectation, we see lots of folk talking, I wonder what it's going to be like, I wonder whether it's going to be as good. And these are really important questions. Behind that, people are wondering how much they can believe in us and trust our judgment internally. Are we going to become a brewery that maybe that thought or that want or desire that they have, that there are outstanding breweries developing bit by bit in the UK that are not just getting it right some of the times, but approaching that same quality standard that a lot of the American breweries that we look up to, I think, have as a base.
The question I've always wondered, I've never actually asked a brewer or a brewing team, is that, like you say, you've both been in beer for decades, or in your case 2. Sorry, I don't mean to imply any more.
I'm feeling the pace.
So, what? Obviously, have you brewed double IPAs before at previous breweries?
Oh, do you know, that's a very good question. No, I haven't. I've brewed big IPAs.
Yeah.
Sort of touching 8%.
Never put a D on the at the start of it. Yeah. Because obviously you were saying you've never had a beer that's blown up like this. It's been so well received and so got so much buzz around it.
No,
so why hasn't that happened before? What's happened at Cloudwater that has made your beer just suddenly in everyone's attention? Everyone going, wow.
I concentrate on the mash. I don't know. There's been a lot of interest. I think starting with where we, from our starting point, working seasonally, has made a very big difference. It's also there's been a lot of creative here in terms of we've brewed over 70 different recipes.
79
recipes now. In a way, that's casting the net very wide. You know, we've given ourselves opportunity rather than to tweak things, to completely reinvent everything we do. You know, on a regular basis. You know, we've not given people an expectation that things will be exactly the same. So maybe we've been able to progress more rapidly than we would have otherwise.
Every week we have the opportunity to rewrite our recipe book and rewrite our targets, and set ourselves on an improved course, rather than worrying about what happens when we can't deliver the same beer to a customer for the next 12 months. That doesn't become a concern in light of actually we can just make something new and exciting.
Do you think it's like almost like you guys taking a risk constantly? Is, you know, it's like where you say like you're not making progress if you're not uncomfortable to some extent.
Yeah, sure.
Got to keep you on your toes.
The owner of another UK brewery I spoke to has a slightly different view and put it rather simply. Cloudwater are doing everything 1% better than everyone else. Whether that's down to care, experience or experimentation, there's something magic in the Cloudwater.
One more time.
Well, as the old adage goes, I think it was on a t-shirt, if you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much room, and I think that's done Cloudwater wonders, and indeed no fear, TM. So thank you so much for having me. I can't wait to taste the beer. Hopefully it all goes well and it'll be raining Cloudwater double IPA very, very soon. Cheers.